good afternoon on what is a bright, slightly breezy and cool afternoon. It is Sunday, October the 11th. I am in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and this large parcel to finish unboxing. So far you will have seen me pull several books out here, including Crestfallen and what's next out of here, the book of contemporary magical places, aliens and asteroids, and a far off place, or a far off land, sorry. Next book is, that's Chilk 3rd edition, so keep pulling these books out, and I think there's just one last monster book to pull out, which is Mage, the Ascension 20th Anniversary Edition, and this is huge. This is a thick book. I mean, let's have a look. This is the lightning source version, and it runs to 678 pages. So yeah, that's one monster book. So let's have a look. It contains, it says, awaken, change your world, believe, and the world changes. That world changes you as well. Ascend, who then will you become? Mage, the mage, magic is in you. Now, obviously, Mage the Ascension was originally published in the early 90s. It was the third of the original quintet of storyteller horror games that was Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension, then Wraith and Changeling as well, and this huge volume collects an awful lot of the background, and it dealt with mages in the world of darkness. So yeah, originally published by White Wolf, and then obviously now available from Onyx Path Publishing. This is going to take someone an awful long time to read, because it's not going to be me, because this doesn't actually belong to me. It is going. I'm serving as the basically the point of postal point of transference for the post to a friend in the States. But I'm going to do an unboxing of it in the meantime. This is in full colour, fantastic artwork. Go. This is going to be quite a beast to actually handle because of its size, and also post. I would think. Basically, but yeah, beast to handle whilst I'm doing this unboxing. And as you open up, it's got shots from the Mage tarot deck, which I do have a copy upstairs, which is a really lovely little tarot deck. And if you can find one, I thoroughly recommend it for your Mage games. And you've got essentially two books in here: Book One Awoken, which is an overview of the Mage's world. Then Believe, moving into the meat of the game. Then Ascend, the rules of the game can be found in the final section. So there's an awful lot of content to get through on this. I mean, just looking at this, we have lexicons, which is a guide to the common terminology, and that starts on page 23. Let's have a look. Essentially, that runs to page 28 when it goes on to tradition terminology, and then page 30 technocratic terminology. So that's 7 pages of terminology. So basically, the step that someone will have to take in learning this game from this book. There is no necessarily easy way into this game. Yeah, and the rooks or magpies appear to agree with me. But going through, again, it's really nice illustrated with images taken from the tarot deck. There, let me show you that. These are, very nicely produced. And there is so much to look at in here, and really almost impossible to grasp because of the scope and size of it. So this is not necessarily probably the best possible unboxing that I can do of this book, because it's almost too big, and there's so much to really go into in this book. I'm just leaving through it and just going, this is quite utterly amazing. I mean, I've got a copy of the original Mage somewhere, and I have read it in the past, but not for a while. And you sometimes forget just how big a role-playing line can get over the course of years, and certainly Mage would have had that history in the 90s, and this would have come out. Let's have a look. This is 2015, so would have come out sort of like 1995, and would have been utterly sort of like quite amazing. And we'll get on to things that we go for the traditions, which are essentially the paths that the players would take through their understanding of magic, and that gives them access to different spells, such as let's have a look. Just trying to find a lead page for one. And here we've got basic guideline for Curtaman, the Wizard's Duel, which is kind of drawn out of Ars Magica, and depending upon which timeline you follow, because it's sort of been in and out of it, Mage is the descendant of Ars Magica. So yes, here we have, for example, the Akashic Brotherhood. Our bodies strive to recall the harmony our souls knew before we were born. And then Celestial Chorus, and we're dealing with explaining basically the different traditions. So Celestial Chorus, Dream Speakers, Code of Ecstasy, and these essentially are there were books devoted to all of these, and in particular we've got here the Order of Hermes, and they're the particular tradition that is the heirs to those in Ars Magica. So multiple states, multiple different paths to follow, and just so much information in here. There is just so much to scope. You could literally, this is a book in which you could just sit down and study. So we're basically just turning over. We've got a traditional sort of like storyteller, or what we now know story path character sheet with basically your 9 different attributes: physical, social, mental, and then your abilities divided between talents, skills, and knowledges, and with the little spaces for their dots to fill in. And it's finally, essentially, it's not until 250, page 250, folks, where we get the character creation process. All of this is background you kind of need to know to get to this point. As I say, there is a steep learning curve to bring this to the table, and really we'll now get on to how to create the character, and handling different things. So we're sort of like going through the prelude, which is essentially sort of like the episode 0 for your ongoing chronicle for each of your player characters. Going through all different skills, and then advantages like familiar or straight companion, influences and legend, mentor, library, and so on. and then we finally get onto elements of magic, and we are we're kind of sort of like, we're now 360 pages into the book, so quite a while. So yeah, there we go, elements of magic, and we've still got 300 pages to go, and then 383 we have the Book of Rules, chapter 8. This is, as I say, it's an amazing piece of work. It's an amazing collation of content, from a game that is now 26 years old, and it still very much has its fans. People really like it, and there is just so much to dig into. And I mean, obviously, compared to when the game sort of came out at the time, it would have been in bits and pieces. So core rules, then what became known as splat books, where it looks at a particular tradition. Before we proceed into, the world beyond, whether that's the web, other worlds, and the Umbra, and so on into the spheres. Just so much in here, and so honestly, at this point, you could get an incredible amount of play out of this book. I'm not going to deny that, but it is very much, I was going to say, just checking the rules, the indexes, because there are several of them, because you've got a rules index, and a general index, and they run for 7 pages. But if you were to take this, you'd get an incredible amount of play out of it if you really wanted to. But the amount of study you probably would need to get a campaign or a game off the ground is daunting, I will admit. But anyway, that is Mage the Ascension, the 20th Anniversary Edition. I presume this is available on drive-through, because this is where it come from. And that's interesting. And we'll be going to the States, and I don't know how much my friend is going to be paying in postage. But that's not my problem, as it were. So, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you posting those, and I do respond. And lastly, if you want to see me back here in the Read Nook with another video where I will have a package and a book or game which I can talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, accompanied of course by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit the subscribe button. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.